A time filled with magic, the Arc Rapides has organized this Christmas party with carols, food, and the special appearance of Santa Claus, who delivered gifts to those well-behaved this year. The event took place at the center's facilities with dozens in attendance to celebrate the most wonderful time of the year. The Arc Rapides has been operating since 1955 and has become a safe space in the community, offering multiple services focused on the social integration of community members with developmental or intellectual disabilities. According to the director of the center, Dwayne Urbina, their mission is to make the lives of individuals as normal as possible.
We do an assortment of things as far as providing transportation. We have a day hab. We have supported employment with area businesses where they work out in the community. We also have a brand new thrift store, so there's a lot of services we provide here at the Arc Rapides. We want to promote our participants to be out in the community, integrated in the community, because, you know, that's what it's all about. Everybody working together. Merry Christmas to everybody in Central Louisiana, the Arc Rapides.
To learn more about the services provided by the Arc Rapides, you can visit their website at thearcrapides.org.